Hello everyone. This is a bit of a update for my retro gaming playlist. Just to show you that I've acquired day before yesterday this new console, I suppose you'd call it, the A500 Mini from Retro Games. Now, you may remember that I started this playlist going nearly a year now ago because I had come across a few old Amiga 500 games in my collection and wanted to try and recreate the experience of playing them. They were Armada and Dreadnoughts, these two games from Peter Turkin that I used to enjoy, and you would have seen that I actually got hold of an old Amiga 500 machine and successfully played Dreadnoughts on it, but could never get Armada to work. That was probably because the floppy disk was corrupted or faulty for some reason. But I had some success anyway. So at the time, I was aware that this little mini console was going to be released in April of 2022, where we are now, and here it is. I had no intention of getting it for several reasons. One was that it was going to come with 25 games on it on a carousel, and all the games that had been announced at the time I was getting back into the Amiga. All the games that had been announced that were going to be on the carousel didn't particularly interest me, and I was aware that you wouldn't be able to put floppy disks into it, so the disks that were in this box weren't compatible with it. It wasn't an Amiga machine, the re-release of an Amiga machine. It was simply a retro style gaming console that it could be used to play the Amiga games that were on the carousel. So I went down the route of buying Amiga 500s, and I even tried buying an Amiga 1200, but I won't talk about that. That was a complete disaster. Tried to get it on eBay, and the seller was a complete charlatan, and that kind of quashed my interest in proceeding really with trying to reconstruct or acquire old Amiga machines. I've got 3 Amiga 500s now, and at some point I will get around to tinkering with them and trying to recap them and put new capacitors in them and so on, and clean them up and get them functioning. But I was kind of happy with where I'd got to, being able to play Dreadnoughts and so on, and a few other games that I had floppies for. And then it was very close to the release of this machine. I discovered that you could actually there was a spare USB socket on the back of it, and you could download old Amiga games from a site called WHD Load and load them up onto this console. So it immediately opened up the prospect of being able to play any Amiga game that you had fond memories of on this machine. So it then became a no-brainer. Oh, and by the way, one of the games on the carousel was one of the games that I was interested in playing again, called The Lost Patrol. and I did purchase that on eBay, but unfortunately the floppy drive had been not corrupted, but it had been written over so that the game was started at the end point, so it was impossible to actually play the game or compete in it because the main character, was on the point of dying. Anyway, that's by the by. But the Lost Patrol is actually on this, so it kind of made it an expensive way of just playing that game. But I was hoping that I would be able to download some of the games that I was interested in, had in the past, and put them onto this. Now, one of the other reasons why I wasn't interested in getting this is that it's just a little model of the Amiga 500. It doesn't function as an Amiga 500. The floppy disk drive is too small anyway, but it's closed off and wouldn't work. And the keyboard is just there for appearance only. Doesn't actually have a working keyboard. There is a virtual keyboard that you can bring up on the screen. So that is kind of the way around that. But for a game like Dreadnoughts, which involves a lot of typing, an Armada in particular involves a lot of typing, it wouldn't have been, it's not kind of really desirable just to try and do that with a virtual keyboard. Anyway, got hold of this, have tried it out. I'm really pleased with it. The games that are actually on it, as I say, most of them don't appeal to me, but some of them I'm going to have a go at. Some of them I've tried and I've had good fun. The Lost Patrol, I played a game of that, works perfectly. But then I thought, right, now I've got it there, I know it's working. Let's get cracking with trying to download something from WHD Load and see how that works. So that is when I began to have problems. So this isn't a criticism of the machine as such. It is something that I've sorted now, and possibly the one criticism I have of retro games is that this issue isn't flagged up. I only found out how to solve it by watching other YouTube channels and having discussions in the comments about the problem, which other people have experienced as well. But I started off, I had this memory stick here. This is, as you can probably see, is an 8 gigabyte memory stick. If you plug this into the back of the machine just as it is, you get a message saying that referring you to Retro Games web support page on their website, and telling you that you need to download WHD Load file, and doesn't make clear, but again, it's very easy to discover how to do it. But within that folder there is a subfolder, and it's the subfolder called the A500, which you need to have in the root file of the memory disk. So sorted all that out and got this configured appropriately. But when I plugged it into the back of the machine, it still didn't recognize the fact that I had the WHD Load file installed, even though I was absolutely 100% clear and certain that I had installed it on the USB disk correctly. So the fact that it was in the root file, and I was sure of that, puzzled me that why wasn't this USB stick working. So I went out the next day, having had a long frustrating day trying to get this to work, and purchased another memory stick. And my immediate kind of instinct was to get a really large storage capacity memory stick, and this one's got 8 gigabytes. This one has 256 gigabytes. So my feeling was, my kind of instinct was this didn't have enough memory, and this one would do. So I went through the same process again, put this into the back of the machine, and it still said that I hadn't got the WHD load file installed on this USB disk. So then I got really kind of frustrated and pulling my hair out, what little of it is left, thinking, what on earth can I do? And again, using YouTube channels, You've Been Gamed was the one that I got the most sort of help from, was not only from him but from his other subscribers who were chipping into the conversation, and they said it's a memory thing. You've got to have a memory stick that has low storage for some reason, not high storage capacity. So I knew this was 8 gigabyte, so I thought, well, it's going to have to be a USB stick that's got less than 8 gigabytes. And the only one I had around the house that I could experiment with was this really ancient memory stick, which has only got 256 megabyte capacity. That gives you an idea of how old and ancient this thing is. But anyway, I downloaded went through the same process again, downloaded the WHD load package, put it in the back of the machine, and it worked fine. Absolutely brilliant. So problem solved. The only problem being that it's such a low capacity that it didn't have sufficient storage space to even download games onto it. So I knew I was going to have to go out and get a memory stick, which, working on the assumption that this one hadn't worked, that was a lower capacity than 8 gigabytes. And you cannot find those in shops now. The lowest memory capacity that you can seem to be able to buy over the counter is 16 gigabytes, and I was wandering around town for ages from shop to shop trying to find something that was, say, 4 gigabytes. Couldn't find it, but I thought I would get hold of some 16 gigabyte memory sticks, simply because You've Been Gamed, sorry, I've forgotten his actual name, but You've Been Gamed recommended SanDisk. So while I was in Wilko, which is a chain of shops here in the UK, I picked up a pack of 3 SanDisk 16 gigabyte memory sticks, not having any real confidence that they would work, but thinking, well, memory sticks always come in useful, and I'll try SanDisk out and see if it works. But before I'd even tried it out, as soon as I got home, I ordered on Amazon some 4 gigabyte memory sticks as well. But as it happens, for some reason, SanDisk 16 gigabyte sticks work. So I am thinking now that there is something else incompatible about this memory stick I've got. Maybe because it's very old, I don't know. But 16 gigabyte SanDisk memory sticks definitely work. So there I was, all set to go, and I am really delighted, really pleased. The only, there's always some setbacks, and the only problems now are that on the WHD load website, these games were so, obscure unpopular with the sort of Amiga gaming fraternity that neither of these are on, so they're not available to download. So I've still not got any further in being able to play these on this, although I can play this one on the Amiga 500 that I've got, proper Amiga 500. But there was another game that I was really interested in playing, which is this one here, Lords of the Rising Sun. Now, I own this game. I bought this on eBay in order to be able to play it on my proper Amiga 500, and it kind of works, but it's very clunky. It drops out, every now and again, and wasn't particularly enjoyable experience of playing it because it was so flaky, kept having error messages and that kind of thing. So this was the first one I went for. I downloaded it onto the memory stick, and I have had hours of fun already playing this game on this machine. Unfortunately, I can't show you any of the gameplay at the moment because rather like my Sky TV box, if I try and record anything to my DVD player, I get this sort of flashing signal message over the top of the screen, which detracts from the viewing experience. So I'm not able to show you any gameplay of it, but I have played a really enjoyable game of it, and I'll show you a bit of footage at the end of this ramble, just showing you the opening sequences of it that I recorded off of my proper Amiga 500. That is the only other thing to say really, is that the WHD load site does kind of rely on the downloader's honesty that they do possess the game already, so that you have sort of purchased the right to play the game. So there's clearly a grey area there where a lot of people are going to download games, because there's just hundreds and hundreds of them, just to be able to play them on this machine, and they don't actually own the right to play them. That you will find as well that some games, I'm guilty of doing it. I've been I've been downloading games that I did own originally and got rid of with my old, in the 1990s with my old Amiga. And some of them do require, they're sort of kind of password protected in that they ask you to type in words from the manual and so on as a sort of guarantee of ownership of the game. Microprose games are particularly common for doing that. So the Microprose Formula One Grand Prix game that I was hoping to be able to play. But other than that, so I can get around that by buying the games on eBay. So I intend doing that. But other than that, I've been having a really good time of it. So I just let's just show you now. Turn the television on, and I can show you the there we go. That's the screen. This new console has a gamepad and a kind of mini replica of the old tank mouse for the Amiga. The Amiga 500 didn't have anything like this, but it's quite a good way of working your way around the screen. And there is the recognition that I've got a memory stick loaded into it, and you can see I've got Lords of the Rising Sun there, just to give you an idea of how it works. And this opening sequence, as I say, I'll put a little clip of that at the end that I copied from my Amiga 500, but it is an absolutely brilliant, except for some reason it's gone out of focus. There we go. Yeah, I really love this game. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Just to say, get this if you are nostalgic, and you know I'm a very nostalgic person in general, but if you're nostalgic for the old days of the Amiga 500 and got rid of your machine a long time ago, this is definitely worth investing in. Be aware when you do so though that not to get too large a storage capacity on the memory stick that you're going to use to download games from WHD Load, but once you've overcome that problem, that issue is really straightforward and easy to do. If you're anything approaching a real Amiga fanatic though, and you've already got Amiga machines, this probably isn't going to work for you. This is for the likes of me, kind of real dilettante, just want to get back to some old fun gaming. But if you're really critical of graphics, although the graphics on this, I should say, are better than the Amiga 500. They use the graphics from the Amiga 1200 on this. And there's no disc swapping either. The old Amiga 500, you were constantly, like this had two discs, and you were constantly having to change them over. None of that. So from my point of view, as I say, it's absolutely ideal. I'm in sort of heaven playing this now. But if you're anything like a real Amiga enthusiast with real technical demands of the systems and so on, this probably isn't going to do it for you. And you can criticize it for not having a keyboard, that kind of thing, but for me this is absolutely wonderful. I'm really glad, having not intended to buy one, I am really so glad I got one, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it. But until I can work out how to capture images on my laptop and stream images that way, video capture, I'm not going to be able to show you any gameplay on it, unfortunately. But I just wanted to do this update just to let you know what's going on in my retro gaming hobby. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.